Yes, yes, Sir Hairless here. Today we are back with VoicePlay. This is a patron request, so thank you for this one. It's the Little Mermaid Medley, featuring Rachel Potter. We've seen her before. She works so well with VoicePlay, I think. We saw her last in our most recent non-Christmas VoicePlay video, which was actually another medley. It was the Wicked medley, so if you haven't seen that, please do check that out. My card will be up here. Just like that medley, this is another long one. The video's nearly 8 minutes. Maybe a bit shorter, maybe more like 7.5. They usually have something at the end. So I'll do the same format for this video as I did with that one. I'll watch it all the way through before going into the analysis, maybe with just a couple of pauses to give some quick initial thoughts, just so I'm not trying to remember 7 minutes worth of things when it comes to the aftermath. The Little Mermaid, I watched the film recently as a refresher, but I don't think I'd ever actually seen it. I thought I had when I was a tiny little chap. Alas, I remembered next to nothing of it. I really enjoyed it, and a good portion of the songs I liked. Usually with Disney musicals, there's 1 or 2 songs that really stand out to me, but in this one, there was a very high hit rate. So why don't we just get straight into it? And also, just like I did with the Wicked medley, I'll try and make note of when I see the song change. So if I'm looking down, it's because I'm writing on my little notepad.
I'll tell you a tale of the bottomless blue with its hay to the starboard heave-ho. Heave-ho. Look out, lads, a mermaid be waiting for you in mysterious fathoms below. Fathoms below, low.
Look at this stuff, isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my collection's complete? Wouldn't you think I'm the girl who has everything? I've got gadgets and gizmos aplenty. I've got who's its and what's its galore. You want thingamabobs? I got 20. But who cares? No big deal. I want more. When's it my turn? Wouldn't I love to explore that shore above? Out of the sea. Wish I could be part of that world.
Ariel, listen to me. The human world is a mess. The seaweed is always greener in somebody else's lake. You dream about going up there, but that is a big mistake. Just look at the world around you, right here on the ocean floor. Such wonderful things around you.
What more is you looking for?
Under the sea, said under the sea, yeah. Darling, it's better down where it's wetter. Take it from me. Oh, up on the shore they work all day. Out in the sun they slave away. While we devoting full time to floating under the sea. The nude play the flute, the clock play the harp, the place play the bass, the day sound and sharp, the bass play the brass, the chub play the dub, and all that blowfish blow.
Okay, I think that is now Poor Unfortunate Souls, a song I really enjoyed from the film, actually. So excited for that. We're 2.5 minutes in. We've had 3 songs by my reckoning. They spent a lot of time on Under the Sea, and Under the Sea is actually the reason why I thought I knew the film, because I know Under the Sea inside out. I think now it's because in primary school or junior school, you know, when you're about 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, I think we must have sung that. When watching this film, I didn't recognize really any of the other songs, maybe a little bit here and there. And there weren't too many songs in the film. So maybe they do spend a bit more time on maybe the more popular or more famous songs. Of the ones we've heard so far, Under the Sea is my favorite. Maybe my favorite from the whole film. I also do really like Poor Unfortunate Souls. This is just a quick pause. Shout out to... Oh, it's so silly. I love it. And their outfits as well. So I'm going to guess that J-Nun is Sebastian, the little crab, because the crab is the one who sings Under the Sea. Jeff, clearly Ursula. Lane, the chef, I think. Ellie is the fish friend. Flounder. Flounder, when watching the film, I found that really funny because a flounder is a hideous fish. I'll put a picture on the screen now. So I did wonder if flounder was meant to actually be a flounder, and in typical Disney fashion, they've just turned it into something beautiful. Anyway, I'll stop my flounder hate. I'm sure they're a lovely species of fish. And of course, Rachel Potter is Ariel, the Little Mermaid herself. I always wonder about the keys with medleys, because when you transition from one song into another song, if you're performing them in the original keys and the keys are very unrelated, then it can be quite difficult to create a smooth transition. VoicePlay seem to be singing them in the same key. The first song,
I'll tell you a tale of the bottom.
second song,
Look at this stuff, isn't it neat? Look at this stuff, isn't it neat?
These side-by-side comparisons are good for seeing how VoicePlay have created these differences, such as there with the very bass-heavy introduction to this song. Of course, I can't do that for every song. We would be here for not just all day, all week. And then the third song.
The seaweed is always greener in somebody else's lake.
The seaweed is always greener in somebody else's lake.
Well, that one is actually a little bit different. There could be many reasons for this, maybe. So it's a bit higher for J-Nun, a bit higher, more powerful. He can, you know, do his thing in there a bit better. But where we paused Poor Unfortunate Souls, I think that is the same key.
Sweet child.
Who are you?
To turn to.
Yeah, that is the same key. So I would have said they did Under the Sea in a different key because it would make an easier transition into this song, which is the same key. But the transition I found interesting.
Poor child.
It's a complete reset. So if ever there was a time to have two songs in unrelated keys coming after each other, this would be it. So my guess is as good as yours as to why they've done it in a different key for Under the Sea. But I think it's just a bit higher in general, which has many various positives. Okay, let's carry on with Poor Unfortunate Souls. Very excited to see what they do here with Jeff really encapsulating the role of Ursula with all that makeup.
Poor child. Poor sweet child.
Who are you?
Don't be scared. We represent someone who can help.
I admit that in the past I've been a nasty. They weren't kidding when they called me, well, a witch. But you'll find that nowadays I've mended all my ways, repented, seen the light, and made a switch.
True? Yes.
And I fortunately know a little magic. It's a talent that I always have possessed.
And dear lady, please don't laugh. I use it on behalf of
The miserable, the lonely, and depressed.
pathetic.
Poor unfortunate souls in pain.
Indeed. This one longing to be thinner, that one wants to get the girl, and do I help them? Yes, indeed.
Those poor unfortunate souls are so sad, so true. They come flocking to my cauldron crying, spells!
Do I help them? Yes, I do. Oh, but there is one more thing. We haven't discussed the subject of payment.
But I don't have
Well, I'm not asking much. What I want from you is your voice.
If you want to cross the bridge, my sweet, you've got to pay the toll. Take a gulp and take a breath and go ahead and sign the scroll. Flotsam, jetsam, now we've got our boys. The boss is on a roll. This poor unfortunate
Belugas are frugal, come wings of the Caspian Sea. Larynxis, glossitis, and max laryngitis, la voce to me.
Les poissons. How I love les poissons. Love to chop and serve little fish. First I cut off their head, then I pull out their bones. Ah mais oui, ça c'est toujours délicieux. Les poissons, les poissons. With a cleaver I hack them too. I pull out out what's inside and I serve it up fried. God, I love little fishes, don't you?
Nothing is happening. Time for a little vocal romantic stimulation.
There you see.
Wow, they've really gone full out with the anthropomorphism here, haven't they? I think this is the next song in the pond lake. Kiss the Girl? Is it called Kiss the Girl? Now I've just got Katy Perry's I Kissed the Girl coming to mind. Right, that was a long section and we only had 2 songs there. Poor Unfortunate Souls, like I say, I really liked it, but they did spend quite a long time on that. That could have been a video by itself. And then Les Poissons, the song that the evil chef sings, which was Lane. Yeah, some really interesting and cool and funny things in there. And as usual, the special effects are done really, really well. Having the film so fresh in my mind really allows me to notice things that I otherwise would miss, especially if it's a medley about something or a film that I haven't seen. So when I do these medleys, I do try and watch the film beforehand. All right, there's probably another 2.5 minutes left, so let's carry on until the end.
Stimulation.
There you see her, sitting there across the way. She don't got a lot to say, but there's something about her. And you don't know why, but you're dying to try. You wanna kiss the girl. Kiss the girl. Yes, you want her. Look at her, you know you do. It's possible she wants you to, but there's one way to ask her. It don't take a word, not a single word. You wanna kiss the girl.
Sing it with me now.
Sha la 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 la, don't be scared. You got the mood prepared. Go on and kiss the girl. Sha la 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 la, don't stop it now. Don't try to hide it. How you wanna kiss the girl? Sha la 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 la, float along and listen to the song. The song say kiss the girl. Sha la 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 la, the music play. Do what the music say. Kiss the girl. Kiss the girl. Kiss the girl.
What a lovely little bride, I'll make my dear all look different. Things are working out according to my ultimate design. Soon I'll have that little mermaid and the ocean will be mine.
Unfortunate souls.
Now we can walk, now we can run.
Now we can stay all day in the sun. Just you and me.
Just you and me.
And I can be part of this.
Sing it with me now. Pathetic. In need. This one longing to be thinner. That one wants to get the girl.
Well, that was fun. And especially in Kiss the Girl with these added in, you know, lights everywhere. But weirdly, this is the one where I felt most like they were underwater.
Kiss the girl. Sha la 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 la, float along and listen to the
Me demonstrating them being underwater, and then you have Ellie the seagull.
song and listen to the song.
Why does he here reminds me of their boy bands medley? I can imagine this being like a 90s boy band look or something. If you haven't seen my video on boy bands medley, I absolutely love that one. You can find that card up here. Okay, let's go through what we've just heard then. There's a lot to get through, just like I did with the Wicked medley. I'm not going to point out everything. I'm only going to focus on things that I think are a bit more interesting and you might not have heard in other videos. So the first song, I don't know whether to try and talk about the context of the story. I don't think I will. I don't want to give anyone any spoilers. I recommend watching the film if you haven't seen it. It is good fun. But as usual, VoicePlay have been very attentive to the story and the context and every little tiny attention to detail that they include throughout. So I'll try not to give spoilers. But this first song, it's sung by, you know, the crew of a ship. VoicePlay set that scene, but in a slightly less jovial, jolly way. Very rhythmic, and we start with a bare open fifth, which is this. If you're a guitarist, it's known as a power chord. What this means is that there's no third note, and the third note determines if you're minor or major. So it's quite ambiguous. Until we hear that third note, we don't know if it's major, happy, or minor, sad. And with their opening, I would have said sad. You know, things seem quite intense.
I'll tell you a tale of the bottomless blue.
But then we now know it's in the major as soon as the entry comes in. So it's almost like we've been deceived right from the off. And The Little Mermaid in general, I don't know about you, but I mean, I'm different because I thought I'd seen the film, but I actually hadn't. But it's a very happy film if you think about it. But really, there's a lot of dark stuff in there. Really quite dark. So I like this little touch here. Nice choice of just having the melody and the bass part so the texture's not too full, too thick yet. Very rigid bass part, which emphasizes the slightly more free and flowing rhythms of the melody in Ellie. And the harmonies are a tiny bit peculiar, a tiny bit archaic sounding. I won't go into too much detail as to why, but
Its hay to the starboard heave-ho.
could you tell that there, especially with Jeff's bass part? And to that end, they really play into the idea of the, I'll call it archaic camaraderie. I'm imagining old school pirates.
They'd be waiting for you in mysterious fathoms below.
Emphasizing the dissonance there with the sustained hums clashing against the moving parts. Then we get the next song with Rachel Potter taking the lead. This is an interesting transition from song 1 to song 2. What do they do? Well, we have a few chords. Let's hear them.
Look at this stuff, isn't it neat?
These two songs are actually in the same key. So to make it interesting and to make us not realize that, they've had to add in some passing chords. If you're doing a medley, you might think, oh, ideally, if every song was in the same key, it's easy. You can overlap them, easily move from one song into the other one. But actually, if they're in related keys, I would say it might be easier. And when I say related keys, some keys are related nicer to other keys. What VoicePlay do here is we get this chord moving to, they share one of the notes, the other two notes only move up by one step, so they're related. It sounds very natural. So VoicePlay do this, they move to a related chord and then they go back to where they were. Okay, so throughout this, we do get a lot of bubbles with their sound effects. Someone please let me know if it's Lane who has made these sound effects. With the beatboxers, they are always capable of so much more than we seem to think is possible.
Look at this stuff, isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my collection's complete?
Very subtle beat. The bass part here has a lot of the rhythmic drive. And with Rachel, I've said it every time I've seen her previously, I think her voice is a very musical theatre voice. So I think it's very suited, especially for a song like this.
Wouldn't you think I'm the girl who has everything?
Chest voice into a slight blended voice, a lot of power there. She's very clever at choosing when to use straight tone versus vibrato. She can change them about so quickly. She just works so well with VoicePlay, and we do see that later on especially. Now, some of this arrangement is very more a cappella in style than other parts. This is one of the more a cappella parts of the arrangement.
I've got gadgets and gizmos aplenty. I've got who's it's and what's it's galore.
Where they're repeating the lyrics in the backing parts on the off rhythms, saying some unfinished words, and then we have that layered build up
Aplenty. I've got who's it's
that we so often see with VoicePlay. And again with the layering.
I want more. When's it my turn? Wouldn't I love to explore that shore above?
That's a really nice part of the arrangement. Very a cappella in style, and Rachel showing off her amazing voice. When I say a cappella in style, I know some of you will be thinking, what do you mean? This is a cappella, of course. I guess I mean more traditional a cappella, things you'd expect to see in an a cappella performance of a song rather than an instrumental version of a song. Now, I could talk for days about this, but I'm sure many of you watching this are also very familiar with pentatonics, I'd imagine. And from what I've seen of the more recent pentatonic stuff, that seems to be less traditional a cappella in style. So hopefully you know what I mean when I call a style of a cappella a cappella. Then we get this.
The sea.
I kind of forgot that was in the original song, but it is.
Out of the sea.
And I was thinking they're going to go into Under the Sea because Under the Sea, the same melodic motif, perhaps a slightly different musical context, but I was thinking, oh, that's a really clever way of linking the two songs. But that's just how the song goes. And then we get Under the Sea.
Part of that.
Ariel, listen to me.
The tune, I mean, I can't do it, but that's very, very cool. This song, it's just so fun. If you don't know the original song.
Here on the ocean floor, such wonderful things around you. What more are you looking for?
How tropical, you know, we've got some reggae influences in there. All the fish are having a party. Later on, they form a little orchestra.
Each little clown here know how to jam here under the sea.
It's just a fun song. I love it. VoicePlay choose to start off this one.
Human world is a mess. The seaweed is always greener in somebody else's lake.
Again, just bass and melody, but the bass is quite scarce. But then a bit later on.
Here on the ocean floor, such wonderful things around you.
What more is you looking for?
Under the sea, said under the sea, yeah.
Now that was really surprising for me because it is a huge song and they have transformed the feel of the song. Suddenly it's become calm. We don't get any calmness in the original song. It's all about being a party, being exciting. He is trying to tell the mermaid to stay in the sea and not to try and go to land. So how have they made it calmer? Well, they've removed the beatbox.
Under the sea, said under the sea, yeah.
We've got clicks. And all the backing parts are lyricless oohs, flowing chords. And then when the accompanying parts do start singing words,
Down where it's wetter, take it from me. Oh, up on the shore.
homophonic repeating of the melody, things are starting to liven up a bit. Is this a correct assumption that now things are livening up? Well, yes, because the beatbox comes back in.
Oh, up on the shore, they work all day. Out in the sun, they slave away. While we devoting full time to floating under the sea.
And the vowel sound changes from the closed ooh to the open ah. So they do several things here to remove the growth that we've been hearing and then to reintroduce it gradually. Then things just get quite fun.
Play the flute, the clock, play the harp, the place, play the bass, the they sound and sharp, the bass, play the brass, the chub, play the dub, and all.
They are essentially mimicking a band. Bands we can think of as fun, funky rhythms. They're really leaning into this with the syncopations, the cross rhythms. Everything seems a bit sporadic, a bit chaotic, but of course, it's organized, it's an arrangement. In a medley, you are limited on time if you want to get multiple songs in. I like that they have spent, how long did I note? Yeah, just over a minute on this one song, which allows them to have these different feelings, giving off completely different atmospheres within the same song. Next, Poor Unfortunate Souls. I thought this is a really good song in the original. It's the real villain of the story who's singing it. Usually the villain songs are just so good. I'm thinking about Hellfire. If you want to see my reaction to VoicePlay's Hellfire, card up here. And being a villain song, very evil, rather than like a love ballad or a happy dancey song. Musically, you have to have different characteristics.
Poor unfortunate souls in pain, in need.
Aesthetically, you can see how VoicePlay have copied everything really quite well. But the music here, it's very orchestral sounding. We've got the strings, the rhythms, dum cha cha dum cha boom, with obvious rhythmic importance, but also harmonic importance, especially the bass line. Now, Jeff has the melody in this one. Jeff is playing Ursula, the evil witch. And as we know they do, they multi-track, so they are keeping Jeff's bass part in underneath his own melody.
I admit that in the past I've been a nasty. They weren't kidding when they called me, well, a witch. But you'll find that nowadays
The main difference for me between this and the original is the rhythmic intensity that I just pointed out. Instead of dum cha cha dum ba bum,
Souls in pain, in need.
where it's the bass part on the strong beats, dum dum bum bum, and then the cha-chas come in higher instruments. We have cymbal crashes. Again, it's a bit chaotic sounding, but a bit more orchestral and again, very organized. VoicePlay remove that rhythmic urgency. It's very difficult to do a cappella, I'm sure. And with Jeff as the protagonist in this one, I think it works better when things are a bit smoother, a bit slower. They're not the right words. I don't know what the right words here, but I'm hoping you know what I mean.
I admit that in the past I've been a nasty. They weren't kidding when they called me, well, a witch.
For example, his bass part, the notes, they're longer. They're not so staccato, not so disjointed. The disjointedness really here comes in Lane's beats. And the accompanying parts.
But you'll find that nowadays I've mended all my ways, repented, seen the light, and made a switch.
True? Yes.
Ooze. A lot of ooze to really exaggerate the smoothness that we're feeling. And as soon as I say that, what happens next?
And I fortunately know a little magic.
It's
A layered chord, bum, bum, bum. They're keeping things interesting, making sure to change things up from section to section, like they so love to do. We get the first real effects applied.
Half possessed.
And dear lady, please don't laugh. I use it on behalf of the miserable, the lonely, and depressed. Pathetic.
This is a repeat of what we had before, but again, the vowel sound has changed from oo to ah in the accompanying parts. This is a Lane arrangement. People tend to have their own arrangement styles, little things that they like to do. That, I think, is something that Lane likes to do. Yeah, I really like Jeff in this.
Poor unfortunate soul in pain.
Indeed. This one longing to be thinner, that one wants to get the girl and do.
What do we get in the background? This time much more exaggerated, those layered bums. Much more intense than we had before though.
This one longing to be thinner, that one wants to get the girl and do what?
Earlier we just had bum bum bum. Now bum 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 bum. So the number of bums have doubled and it's repeated twice. Aesthetically, yeah, we can see what they've done here.
This one longing to be thinner, that one wants to get the girl and...
What do they do next to change things up? Let's introduce some homophony.
Those poor unfortunate souls, so sad, so true.
Suddenly there's just so many different things I could talk about. I'm conscious of time, but I'm really starting to get a feel for Lane's arranging style. And a few more really nice things with this one song. Like I say, this song in itself could have been an independent video. They spent 2 minutes on it. Over 2 minutes, nearly 2.5 minutes.
Payment.
But I don't have
Well, I'm not asking much. What I want from you.
Typical Jeff villain with that low voice of his, but the background, the arrangement of the accompanying oohs, almost quite choral, and they really stood out to me. I really like it.
You is your.
I shouldn't have been talking over that. Let me rewind a bit.
don't have
Well, I'm not asking much. What I want from you is your voice.
If you want to cross the bridge, my sweet, you've got to pay the toll.
Interesting chord progression in there, the feeling of, this is quite cadential, like a cadence, chords coming at the end of a phrase, but no, we go straight back, new chords coming back in.
Then hope and take a breath and go ahead and sign the scroll. Flotsam jetsam, now we've got our boys. The boss is on a roll. This poor unfortunate
Yeah, no words needed. Let's move on.
Belugas or frugal wings of the Caspian.
And that's what I was thinking when this happened, because I was expecting that to be the end of that song. But no, they keep going. This is just an element of surprise, really. And I think surprises are usually welcome in music. Maybe not if you're listening to a lullaby to send you to sleep, but in a medley where it's VoicePlay whose arrangements are just mad. Yeah, I'd say surprises are welcome. A chromatic descent, I have to mention it. And then it's very magical sounding. That is how it is in the original film. Again, trying not to give any spoilers. Essentially, Ariel, the Little Mermaid, is demonstrating her voice, let's say. And I love what Rachel does here. She doesn't need to. We know that she can blend so smoothly from chest voice to blended voice into head voice, but she chooses to make a really exaggerated change between the chest and the head voice.
Keep singing.
And then the blended voice comes in higher up than her head voice. Yeah, she does have quite a distinctive voice. I think I said that from the first second I heard her, and very suited for this style. Really nice, really nice. Next, Les Poissons.
Les poissons, how I love les poissons. Love to...
Just for some context, if you haven't seen the film.
Les poissons, how I love les poissons. Love to chuck and serve little fish.
First,
They stay very true to the original song here in arrangement style, very French. The beat is removed, and what is there to fill in this rhythmic driving force? It's the feel that we get in a triple time. So it's basically a dum bum 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 bum, but they're doing a do sound. And Jeff always takes the first beat, and then in the accompanying parts we have chords on beats 2 and 3. Jeff 2 3, Jeff 2 3.
Les poissons, les poissons.
how I love les poissons. Love to chop and serve little fish.
It's a simple arrangement style. It's mimicking the original song. So what did they do to change things up a bit?
Les poissons, les poissons.
We had a bit of homophony. Now we get the open vowel sounds again compared to the closed doos that we had before.
Cleaver, I hack them too. I pull out what's inside and I serve it up fried.
Homophony, then the disjointed homophony, as I'll call it, where they just sing a part of the phrase repeated. Back to homophony.
I love little fishes, don't you? Nothing.
Next, okay, I'm Googling the name of this song. Yeah, it is Kiss the Girl.
Cushion. Strings. Winds.
So that crab, Sebastian J. Nunn in this, he's the court composer of the sea. So here he's assembling an orchestra, let's say, to play a love song. They're on like a lake type thing, a pond.
Nothing is happening. Time for a little
Watch the film and then you'll understand this.
vocal romantic stimulation.
There you see her, sitting there across the way.
Another song that starts with just the bass and the melody, and then everything else comes in later. And of course, the beatbox. The most noticeable thing about this song for me actually was Lane's style of singing. He is almost singing exclusively in straight tone. So no vibrato, no wobbles.
She don't got a lot to say, but there's something about her.
Only the slightest vibrato coming at the end of the phrase, but that's naturally what a lot of singers tend to do. And I think he is really trying to sing with just a straight tone here. Why? I don't know. You could say it's a more casual way of singing, perhaps. From conversations I've had with many people, not necessarily musicians, the general consensus seems to be that singing with vibrato is more difficult than straight tone singing. And I think there's two sides to the answer. When people start singing, it's usually straight tone, then you learn how to do vibrato. And then you have opera singers, usually very intense vibrato. That's a kind of different style of singing completely. But generally, and I speak about this because this is a cappella, vibrato essentially can mask tuning discrepancies. Straight tone, you can't do that. Straight tone singing has to be perfectly in tune. In my opinion, it's much, much more difficult to do when a cappella groups choose to sing with straight tone. I always point it out because even though it might not sound as exotic or fancy, the reality is it's much harder to sing with other people also doing straight tone. And if you listen to the other parts here,
She don't got a lot to say, but there's something about her. And you don't know why, but you're dying to try.
there's no vibrato anywhere. It's all straight tone. Anyway, so yeah, I really liked this song in the original film. I remember watching it and I was thinking, oh, I like this one. We get a repeat and then the next part of the song.
Sha-la-la-la-la, don't stop it now. Don't try to hide it how you wanna kiss the air.
Things are just opening up a bit more. It's a nice part of the arrangement, this one. Which leads us into the final unique song.
What a lovely little bride, I'll make my dear all look divine. What a lovely little bride, I'll make my dear all look divine.
So again, same style, same key.
What a lovely little bride, I'll make my dear all look divine.
The bass part, only 3 notes here in Jeff. In the original, we had, well, more.
What a lovely little bride, I'll make my dear all look divine.
The arpeggio continues on for a 4th note and then kind of joins in with the rest of the orchestral sound.
Things are working out according to my ultimate design.
And the beat here is very modern compared to the rest of the song, arguably. This is another villain song in the film. We can see with the red lighting. And this bit I really liked.
Soon I'll have that little mermaid and the ocean will be mine.
Jeff's bass part. Dum, dum, dum.
The ocean will be mine.
Nice effect there. And you hear how we have the theme of poor, unfortunate souls coming in. Well, in the original film, what do we get? Just a quick musical trope. And when it comes to these musicals, I just love how much thought goes into everything. Usually when a character comes on the screen, if they are related to a song or have had a song, usually you'll hear just that little theme, the little musical melodic idea appearing somewhere. It could be in the violins or in the flutes quietly. But when you watch musicals from now on, do try and look out for them, because I never used to, and it's only in recent years. But yeah, very interesting. And then VoicePlay finish up. It's the same ideas from the song that we heard second. Nice big ending there, and that's that musical theatre style of voice that I'm talking about there. So powerful. Woo! Well, there we go. The Little Mermaid medley by VoicePlay. Great fun. I can only imagine how much work went into this, into the arrangement, into the video, the effects, everything. So let's leave that one there. Again, if you haven't seen The Little Mermaid, do go watch it. It's good fun. Some good songs in there, I think. I did watch it with a hot chocolate in hand. And if you'd like to donate me a hot chocolate, you can do so at the Buy Me a Coffee link below. Thank you, as always, for watching. Would appreciate a like and subscribe. And if you'd like to join the community, get access to exclusive perks not on YouTube, you can do so by joining the Patreon linked on the screen now. And I will see you next time.